Ce pericol, nopțile alea grele și goale ne-au făcut tari și puternici. Și pe mulți prea mult bine i-au făcut să fie niște nemernici. E o lume nouă după cele două Americi. Aia veche pare că are nevoie de medici. Urmărim banul sau urmărim să înfrângem balauri. Poate nu-i frunte demnă de lauri, dar nici triumf să mulțumească golanul cum o face dolarul. Pentru fiecare bucurie vom gusta și amarul. Cei buni mor primii se spune. Nu-i cazul cu noi, se pare că suntem ultimii pe bune. Și dacă nu-i împotriva legilor firii, atunci vom supraviețui chiar și fericirii.
Omule, cât mai poți să-i mulțumești pe toți, să tot râzi când plâns o vie, că doar ai nimeni nu știe. Mai dai sufletului pace, că săracul multe trage și-a sfințește prea devreme, nu se bucură destul. Într-un colț de întuneric simt că te-ai pierdut cu firea. Unde ai fost, ce-ai avut, de-ai uitat ce e iubirea. Ai uitat să crezi în bine, ai uitat să fugi de rău. Ai uitat de tot de tine, de tot ce era al tău. Fericirea dulce, pe nimeni nu iartă. Dacă totul e trecător, de ce durerea e de piatră? Dacă toți suntem egale, ce pe unii ocolește, pe unii îi despină, pe alții îi unește.
What
cât mai
a banger.
să-i mulțumești pe toți.
This song goes hard.
Say,
even got Darshan bopping.
Că săracul multe.
And Chris. I
mean, Darshan, he took a button down. Look at that. Oh,
Darshan, yeah, Darshan.
He started unbuttoning the shirt. See?
Darshan's on the Philly vibe right now.
Is this the Philly vibe?
You're like on the Philly relax. This is like Philly after dark. You know, I'm like probably like a degenerate in the East Coast with this. Like, you know,
yeah, pretty much.
Like 3 a.m. No place to go right now. Just gonna have another drink. But it's been a while, guys.
You'd be fine on the south side though, wouldn't you, Darshan?
Was that?
South side of where?
Philly.
Oh.
Philly?
I'm not.
It's bad. I think West Philly's the bad part.
I lived in Center City for a while, for about 10 years.
Yeah, you live next to like this nice little marketplace, like a indoor
Reading Terminal Market. Yeah.
There you go. That place is underrated. Shout out to Benjamin Franklin.
It's not underrated at all. It's like a known major Philly.
No.
No, like the 1850s or so.
Not really. Yeah. I think Benjamin Franklin set up shop there once. Like a printing press.
No, Benjamin Franklin's printing press is around the corner as well. From
dude, that guy was one of the most amazing.
There. What are you talking about?
Yeah, he's an adjunct.
That used to be the Philadelphia College of Pharmacy. Like Eli Lilly graduated from there. Welcome graduated from there.
Eli Lilly.
Like a bunch of the CEOs all graduated. Well, founders.
Darshan teaches home economics.
Don't be judging, as long as it works.
Tamira, how's it going? It's been a long time since we were on the show, but nice to see you.
I'm just mostly jealous of Tamara's hair. That's a lot of hair on that head.
Yeah, no, that's a good head of hair.
I know, right?
We can all benefit from some. So a lot has happened, right? Chris Auber, Robert Goldman, Darshan Kulkarni. You want to start with your love for the Maha movement, Darshan, and what happened with your boy Vinay?
I got the book. Vinay has decided to leave. I'm unclear whether the word leave is intentional or forced.
He was forced. I mean, basically, Macri talked nice about him today on CNBC.
Sure.
So it seemed like it was like, listen, you kind of have to. You dropped the ball on that Sarepta thing.
Did he drop the ball? I missed that part.
I think he dropped the ball. This book was a must read. Like a must read. Now it dropped a tier. Like it's nice to read now. Because this was like the brain of the head of CBER, right? Now, the question is, does his thought process remain despite him not being there? Or will the new person have a different...
Do you want to end with the right words that you just used earlier?
Maha?
No. Rest in peace. Like he's dead or something.
Well, his political career is dead. I don't know anyone that would disagree with that. I think. I don't think
in this administration, sure, but I'm not sure it carries.
He's young enough. Maybe he can. I like the guy, and we're trying to get him on the pod. So maybe we have a special guest. Actually,
Macri's coming on?
I wish, guys. Tricking the audience a little. But we'll give an A on one of these days.
I think the next Macri could be coming on. I think he's sleeping next door. Is Max coming on?
Max, nah, he's he was napping, but now he's walking around in the walker.
Is he walking around? Okay.
Yeah, well, he's trying to walk.
It's so fast.
But let's go with Maha. All right, we kind of stopped doing our morning pods, and I actually never got Robert Goldman's take on the new administration. Chris, we kind of discussed privately, but what is your dislike of Maha and RFK specifically?
Darshan.
Really?
Yeah. What is your like main gripe with RFK, and how do you think if you were to rate how he's doing, his performance as head of HHS, what grade would you give him?
Who are you asking?
I'm asking Darshan.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Chris, and I was like, wait.
No, Chris. I mean, I don't know what he would score, but I think we would go with like you first.
Okay. I came in hoping that RFK will target. I was hoping that he'd go after some of the things that I actually think he did well with. For example, he went after diet and stuff, which I'm not sure there was a reasonable argument to go in a different direction. I think previous administrations did not. Now, to be fair, I don't know enough about the data behind that stuff, but I'm going to assume that there's some data there. I think he then went after sacred cows, and he's still going after sacred cows that are pretty well established. And I'm going to let Rob speak to them in a few minutes, but he's far too anti-vax for my personal taste, and I don't see the logic behind it. I don't think he has the evidence to back up the positions he's taking. And I'm not saying he couldn't eventually. And you and I, Dan, have had that on multiple podcasts where I go, anything's fair game as long as you can prove it. But coming there without the proof and then stacking the deck to basically have the answers you want to have is a problem for me. I think right now he's stacking the deck. And every healthcare practitioner, for the most part, is going, don't do this, and he'll do it anyways. Deleting data that he doesn't want to have. Like, what if your worst case scenario is you don't collect the data, and you're deleting the data? To me, I have a major issue with it. And overall, I'm not as happy as I'd like to be. I wish I was wrong, and that's how I approach this. Because as you've pointed out, Dan, more than a few times, I tend to like administrations. I tend to go, someone's in charge. I'm not going to sit and like cross-examine you and double guess the information you have.
You trust the process. Trust the
process
that we've built.
So I'm going to jump in before Robert does, because I have a very brief statement.
Please.
So I don't disagree with anything you said, Robert.
Robert.
Sean, sorry.
Oh.
Yeah, Robert hasn't said anything yet.
Yeah. So I agree with everything you said. The only exception where you and I would differ is I believe all government agencies are very corrupt.
I think that's Dan's position as well. So yeah.
And unfortunately, RFK, I think, is overstepping when he's not proving it, as you're saying. Yeah, you still have to prove. You still have to prove the corruption or whatever the case might be that you believe is at fault. You must still prove it, right? You can't just assume because the RFK is coming from the same point of view that Dan and I are, that it's corrupt. Sure. Okay. Well, now you have to prove it, and then you have to cut out that tumor. So
I would have no issue with that. I would have zero issue with what you just said. To me, then it's just a question of burden of proof, and I can respect saying which side has the burden. But sure. I think we can't default go everything's wrong, and I don't have to prove it. And I think that's my concern.
But I'm with him. I think the industry's for profit, so there's going to be corruption.
I'm not sure the word is corruption. I think there's going to be incentive.
Well,
but
you can choose whatever. You can choose whatever politically correct word you want.
No, I wasn't trying to go politically correct. I was trying to suggest that just because someone's incentivized to go in a certain direction doesn't mean they're corrupt to do it. Is the point I'm making.
We love After Dark.
That's a weird. That's an unusual statement.
Whose? Mine or his?
Yours. At what point does incentivizing become coercion?
Or corruption.
I think there's a pretty there is a line there between incentivizing it and
Well,
corruption.
sure, but I mean, well, look, I talk to IRBs all the time, and they tell me, "Oh, you want to pay this to your patients," but there comes a line between justification for, reimbursement and incentivizing. Then even one step further, now this amount becomes coercive.
Sure,
subjective.
Educate us.
It's
there,
subjective.
Darshan. Educate. Oh, well, of course it is. But
no, I
Darshan
think
said there's the line, so I'm just trying to understand.
Well, that
I
would be
don't think
objective. There is no line. It's subjective.
that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it is objective. I'm saying it's subjective.
Correct. So to you, I'm just curious on your take.
Yeah.
Because I believe like incentivizing to Chris and Dan's point is kind of,
I'm talking. I'm saying capitalism is what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm for capitalism, and I'm going a capitalistic organism like a company will by definition go, how do I maximize profits?
Sure.
Right.
And I think
Agreed.
that you will have to add other ethics to sort of tamper down that capitalism. So unless you're saying that I don't like capitalism, in which case you have a different problem, and I can respect that you have a different position on it.
No. I'm all for capitalism.
That's the line I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I'm all for capitalism.
Except
We're all
when
capitalists.
wait, except for when the FDA is freestanding from tax dollars, and now its primary funding is from pharmaceuticals. I have a problem with that personally.
Or
But do you have a
what
problem
about
with
when
the DMV?
Do I have a problem with the DMV? Well, they're what? Okay, well, so yes, the tax dollars are still paying their salaries, but there's no approval methods there for things that I'm going to
driver's license.
things I'm going to ingest.
So, yeah, but you're letting people behind a literal combustible machine that's going to drive on the road. So how is that really that different?
Sure, and then they'll get tickets and kill people, and
Sure.
they'll lose their license. So we're good. The same thing doesn't happen with pharmaceutical companies. What I'm saying is it opens it up. What I'm saying to you, Darshan, is it opens it up for corruption, coercion, whatever word you want to use.
regulatory capture would be a better one.
When pharma is responsible for the funding of the FDA.
No, see, again, pharma is not responsible for the funding of the FDA. Pharma is specifically saying we need FDA to work faster. They're not saying give me approval. That's where PDUFA came from. PDUFA didn't say, "Oh, FDA, let me fund you." It came from FDA in like the 1990s was taking far too long to approve drugs, and pharma said, "Look, between the exclusivity periods and the patent periods, it takes years for you guys to approve shit." And the FDA said, "Too bad, so sad. This is just what the funding we have." Pharma said, "Tell you what, we will fund it if you can at least guarantee that you will do XYZ in time." So that's where your 1 year period comes from. Your PDUFA dates came from this.
Mm-hmm.
So you're go ahead.
And this is why previous executives at the FDA are CEOs now or execs at pharma companies, right?
You mean
Scott
like
Gottlieb.
on boards? Is that what you're talking about?
Like Scott Gottlieb is what he
Sure.
was.
So you're taking a Scott Gottlieb, for example. Just let's pick him for argument's sake.
Shout out to Scott.
True for all
I
of
mean,
them.
we're trying to get you on the podcast, but this is
but my point is a different one. Right? I think Scott overall would be you want anyone who can tell you how the FDA works at the highest echelons is probably going to be really, really valuable if that's the agency that decides if you're going to be able to do things one way or the other. It's not like Scott, who now works for the FDA, who worked for the FDA, still has decision-making power at the FDA. He can go, look, here's how I know the agency works.
Not decision-making power, but what people are concerned about, because there's clearly lines drawn there and safeguards in place.
Sure.
What people are worried about and distrustful of is the influence that remains.
Define the word influence.
Ability to achieve outcomes to an unfair advantage to those who...
Why do you think he has influence to meet that definition?
So the people that work there are still there.
So
that worked under him are still there.
So you think he's calling them up going, approve this shit?
It's possible.
I mean, how do you not know?
Anything's possible. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I mean, yeah.
And that's to the point, Darshan, like Robert just said. How do you not know? And that's just it. So we need sunlight on everything, right?
So how would you put that sunlight on a conversation that could be, what you're saying is that you're alleging it happens privately?
It should not be allowed, right?
What should not be allowed?
So in my opinion, you keep pharma out of funding the FDA or any government agency, right? And in turn, you don't allow FDA to become executives at pharma.
So just to clarify what you're saying, you're suggesting that if you work for the FDA, you can never work for industry. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, see, I don't go that far. As we've talked about this before. I see the problem with it, but that doesn't mean there's not a problem with having
let's find out what he's saying, right?
So yeah, I believe if you're going to go the route of government, then maybe we put safeguards in place in which maybe you receive a retirement, just like congressmen do.
Or there should be a cooling.
Okay, so hold on. Let's play this out. So you're saying if you work for the FDA, you get a pension.
You don't have to go work for the FDA. No one's forcing you.
No. I'm not saying that you do.
But the issue with that is you're not going to get like the most talented people working for the FDA. Let's
assume you did it anyways. Let's say you're a really smart guy. You go, I'm into public health. I'm gonna go help save lives. I'm gonna work for the FDA. Now you finished, or even worse, Elon Musk came in and just fired you.
Robert, we're gonna need another drink, man. This is
okay. So you have guaranteed retirement.
I'm sorry. Then what?
Have a guaranteed retirement.
So you have, and now that guaranteed retirement is going to be $30,000 to $40,000.
No, whatever your salary was.
So whatever your salary was. So you now want to carry people who don't work, and you want to pay them indefinitely.
So I would prefer that over.
So who funds that?
Chris, you're getting cross-examined right now by an attorney.
That would be the government.
So you think the government should pay for people who aren't working?
The government $37 trillion in debt. What's a few 100,000 more?
No, but we're just going to keep adding to that, right? Every time you work for the government, heck, you're just basically creating an entire workforce of people who work for the FDA for maybe 2 years.
I would prefer that I can trust something than that I can't, or that I question.
So what happens to that whole thing we just had with Elon Musk going, we need to cut out the
Doge?
Yeah, obviously it didn't happen.
I think it was optics.
Should have.
I think it was optics. And I think that's why he got upset, and
he rightfully did.
Yeah.
So,
in my opinion.
So let's play this out. So you're saying now we're just gonna have, and how long should that period be? You work for 2 days and you get fired, you still get a unlimited pension?
No.
Okay, how long are we putting this?
I don't know. It'd have to be thought out.
Hey, this is the Chris's world. I'm just living in it. You just tell me what.
Sure, Chris hasn't thought it through, but what most people are alluding to is there's a problem.
Calm down to most people. So far, we've got 3.
Most people except you. You've
got 3 people.
You're part of the regulatory apparatus.
Here's my stance. I believe at this point, the older I get, the more and more I believe in a form of anarchy.
Okay.
Right? A form of government. The best form of government is anarchy. Really, I do not trust the government at all.
That's wild.
0.
Okay.
Well, people misunderstand the term anarchy. It doesn't mean that you're in rebellion. What it means is there's no large oversized government overseeing what you're doing.
Overreaching.
It's all very localized.
Mm-hmm.
So you just belong. You like a bunch of militias controlling.
Not militias necessarily, but you'd have city governments, and that's as far as it goes.
Like militias, basically.
Not militias.
This is a great.
We're gonna have a bunch of Proud Boy groups going around.
No, that's not what is meant by that. But really, I mean, come on, COVID didn't open your eyes to this at all.
No, COVID did pretty well for me.
Really?
So, Chris, me and Darshan talk about this a lot. I don't go as extreme as anarchy, even in the definition you're using. I think the problem is most people know there's an issue, but there's no real.
Most people thing. What are you quoting here with this? Most people.
Why do you think
it's you, Chris, Rob, and Grok?
No. Why do you think Trump is so popular? Bernie Sanders is so popular. AOC are so popular. They are all anti-establishment. They all.
That's fair. I'll give you that.
They all are pointing to problems with big government.
I will respect.
And their hands.
No. Hold on. One step too far. They're all pointing to problems, not with big government. Bernie and AOC are very much for big government.
Okay, government industry relations.
That's fair. I'll give you that.
And that's what we're pointing to as well. There's an issue there, and so the current best antidote is get someone like RFK in, who's a complete rebel, and he's gonna shake things up.
Is that what you think is happening?
That's what I think they're trying to do.
I think it's chaos.
It might be chaos. I mean, Vinay resigning after 3 months.
Yeah.
They had like 12 episodes of their podcast. Their podcast was fire. I hope Macquarie continues it. Macquarie is good, no? What do you think?
I don't know enough about Macquarie to comment. I don't know enough about. Again, here's the other thing. I'm going to concede this point, and I said this in I want to say another podcast or something. I live in a bubble, and the bubble I live in is a Democrat bubble. So everything I see is filtered through that lens. So I live in Philadelphia, so that's the version I see.
It's turning purple.
Maybe. My point being, I had this exact conversation with a friend of mine in Philadelphia, and she had the exact opposite viewpoint as you guys. And the conversation I had with her was giving literally, Dan, the conversation you and I had, those talking points, I was giving them back to her, and she was like, that's an interesting, broader viewpoint I hadn't considered. Mm-hmm. But I can see both sides of that equation. I think to me, though, as a business, I think in the end, what you value above everything as a business is stability and a direction. The moment you add chaos to that process,
predictability,
everything shuts down.
But there comes a point in time where too much predictability becomes an advantage to the established players. Correct. And then the underdogs, like Robert and the companies he works for, feel like they are also fighting a force that they can't control.
They're regulatorily, if that's a word, priced
regulatory
out.
Capture.
Well, they're priced out. They're priced out. Argue, there's too many roadblocks in their way that they can't overcome. I would argue that
Robert is actually facing more roadblocks from the fact that there's chaos. And I'll tell you why. Because I work with P investors all the time. And then Robert, I assume you do all the time. My experience with them right now is they're going, I don't know what happens next. I'm not putting money into any process where I don't know what happens next. So, and I think, Robert, you guys are raising money, aren't you, right now? Or
mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep. Is that a comment you hear all the time?
Absolutely. Because of the lack of predictability,
right?
Data is no longer going to get you what it used to get you. But Darshan, I have to say, if you pull random people, mm-hmm. like whether it's Fox News, CNN, it's irrelevant.
Sure, whatever. Yeah.
People will tell you that they don't trust pharma.
Oh, number one most hated.
Oh no, I agree with that statement. I agree with that statement. I agree that people don't trust. I actually trust pharma. But that's beside the point.
You
no, of course,
of course you do.
Guys, we're insiders, so we have a nuanced view. All I'm trying to say is
totally fair.
This is where I think some of the points that Chris made kind of resonate and come from, right? Like, why does the public at large generally distrust?
I can answer that question for you.
Go ahead.
Because they don't know any better. It's not because the information isn't there. It's because it's easier to distrust something when the news is constantly telling you to distrust it. It's easier to distrust something when it's too complex for you to understand. It's easier to distrust something when it involves you actually taking the effort to actually try to learn something. So it's easier to just go, you know what? I don't trust them. Well, what would it take for you to trust them? I want transparency. Well, here's all this transparency you have. Oh, I didn't know that was there. But I still don't trust them. What more do you want? I want more X. Well, how about this? Oh, well, I still don't trust. Well, what does it take? And when you have those conversations, because I actually have had those conversations, people don't know what it would take for them to trust, but they just like to start from that gut of I don't trust.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same conversation I think we once all had, right? Are you born good or are you born evil, right? I mean, is it easier to be hateful or is it easier to love?
Yeah.
I think it's the same thing here. It's like, it's much easier to maybe, throw shade at somebody than to say, that guy's a good dude,
Right. So which default do you start from? I think that's the question we're all struggling with here, right?
And I think, and to your point, Darshan, it's the lens in which you're exposed. Again, I'm not saying you.
Yeah, but that's okay.
You're a very educated, person who can see both sides of the coin. Not everybody has that ability.
That's fair.
So even though everything delivered to you through a certain lens,
Yeah, absolutely.
people generally are digesting information through their lens, and they don't have the ability to
100%.
extrapolate or see the other side of the coin. So
100%.
they become very biased, and they look. You can Google anything. You can use AI for anything to fit your narrative.
Next. AI is next.
So I'm just saying, back in the day before AI, right? You could Google whatever you wanted, and it would fit your narrative, no matter what it is.
Agreed.
Right?
I think it still will. AI will do that for you as well.
Sure, of course it will. So I'm just saying that's the whole problem at large. And I think it's up to people like us to educate.
But you don't think? I mean, think about. I've done 900 podcasts on just this version of the podcast for the last 2 years. Dan and I have been podcasting since 2009. I don't even know how many podcasts I've put out. How much more educating can I do?
Well, you can start going to more in-person engagements. It's only so many people that. Well, you've just started, Darshan. You've just started.
No. I mean, again, remember, I've worked as a pharmacist. No, but I mean, I've worked as a pharmacist where I literally was talking to patients all day, every day. I've worked as a lawyer where I'm helping people try to learn this stuff. I'm putting out podcasts. I've written books. I've put out multiple articles.
You know what we're getting at? You are well qualified for head of CBER. I think.
I'm pretty sure after my statements today, I'm probably not going to be head of CBER.
No, because you love Macri. You just RFK.
I don't have a problem with Macri. I don't. Yeah. I want the evidence. That's what I come back from. Show me the evidence. I don't even necessarily. Here's the thing. You show me the evidence. I don't want to be the one to judge it. I'm not smart enough.
Well,
I want to be smart enough to judge it.
Prasad's thesis, which maybe it will last, maybe it won't, is that the industry figured out ways to get around these guidelines with, especially in oncology, surrogate endpoints, where you can kind of game the system. Everyone in the industry knows inclusion-exclusion criteria is rarely reflective of the real-world population.
That's fair.
Rarely.
So you figured out ways.
Never.
Almost never. Right? They figured out ways to game the system. The ones who have more money can pull it off.
But it's not supposed to be.
That's how it is.
No. The goal of inclusion-exclusion criteria was never whether it's reflective of real world. The goal of inclusion-exclusion was always, can I get clean data?
Right.
You don't want more variables in there.
Right, but then who actually takes the drug when it's approved?
That's called real-world evidence. Those are two completely different things.
Correct, and they've went back and black box labeled tons of drugs. They pulled tons of drugs off the market.
Right.
So that was Prasad's whole thesis: was we need to go back to designing studies that people can't figure out how to game as easily, like overall survival rate versus overall response rate. Works. But that's what he wanted to do.
Yeah, but that would be wrong. It's called
I don't know.
The last study you worked on.
He has a good thesis in here.
No.
And it ends with
this is why I'd have a problem with Prasad. Like, it's sort of this idealistic, wishful thinking, which makes no sense in the real world. And I'll tell you why. Rob, the last study you worked on, phase 3, how big was it?
Oh, we had a good one, man.
It was global. It was 1,200 patients.
1,200 patients. And that's a relatively small phase 3. How much did that study probably cost, plus or minus?
A little shy of 40 million.
Shy of 40 million. You now take that study, and that's not the only study that happened. There were multiple studies like that had to happen. You now take that, and you now say, we're going to add multiple variables in there. If I added more variables to that same study, how big would that population need to be? Multiples of where we were.
Yeah, probably 5x, 10x.
5x, 10x, depending on how many variables you add in there.
400 million.
Yeah, so now you're at a 400 million number.
4 billion.
So my point is, Dan, my point is, take exactly that scenario. You're now going to say, we want multiple studies that are like that are each 400 million, then complain that those costs got passed on to patients. You can't have it both ways.
He wasn't implementing all these things at once. He was looking at, are there current standard of treatments? How are you differentiating? Is it overall survival rate or overall response rate? There's different surrogate endpoints that people would
I thought we weren't doing surrogate endpoints. I thought that was the whole point that you wanted, right? Or did I miss that?
That's what Vinay wanted. No surrogate endpoints, at least in cancer. They wanted overall survival, especially if there are other treatments that exist.
So how do you do that for AIDS, for example? No surrogate endpoints, no CD4 counts. Just did you die?
Well, this is for oncology. The book's basically about oncology.
Okay, but do you understand? Again,
I get what you're saying. Yeah, and that's why he's the head of CBER and not the head of CDER.
I mean,
this is what I mean. Like, I think these are like half-assed ideas that sound great on paper, but it's not actually been considered appropriately.
I mean, I get it, but investors do want to know. Like the playbook, we did have the playbook for a few months.
Yeah, he just again. I hadn't read the book, and I still haven't because I just don't. Have
Yeah, well, now it's like maybe a little less valuable, but still interesting.
No, but to me, it's people with idealistic thinking who have no idea what the actual regulatory process is.
Maybe that's true in his case. Like he was a critic of the regulatory establishment. He's got a YouTube channel. It's well documented there. But my overall argument is maybe when it's gone so far towards institutional heavy groupthink, maybe you need somebody to come in and stir things up. If you can't completely do like a regulatory overhaul, you get somebody in there to mix things up.
To Chris's point, I'm fine with someone coming and say we're going to start things up, but then come back, bring your evidence.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just come in and go chaos. I don't have any proof for the chaos, but now Rob can't get funding. People are completely unemployed. The unemployment rate is going through the roof.
That's getting better for biotech, though.
No, it's not.
The environment's getting better. XBI is coming back. It's turning around.
No one I know is saying that outside you.
Damn, man.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Dan.
I better sell my stock. I hope. How about that? I hope it's the new.
I hope so. All of us do, right?
Yeah.
We don't want
people... Yeah, of course. We seeing our colleagues. Yeah, no, it's tough. It's rough out there. Capital markets are still rough. VC and PE money is rough.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't see like any light at the end of the tunnel imminently.
And you add in so between the fact that we don't have visibility on companies going, I have a stable environment. You add in tariffs. You then say import-export laws are going to be completely screwed up because India might have its own tariff starting tomorrow. If you fund Russia in some way, if you're part of BRICS in some way, your numbers completely change. You take all of that out and then you say pharmaceutical companies, if you don't change your supply chain within 3 months, which is impossible. I don't care who you are. You can't change supply chains in 3 months.
Impossible.
That's the art of the deal. That's the art of the deal.
That's not the art of the deal. That's chaos.
Yeah, but that's the art of the deal.
You can do that with, like, I don't know, if you're building a building.
But what happened the other day? AstraZeneca announced they're going to build a U.S. manufacturing plant, spending billions. Lilly
not in 3 months.
Making announcements.
Not in 3 months. No.
So that's my point.
Yeah. Well,
he's not gonna. I mean, my Apple stock is down, I think 13% because Apple couldn't change in time. When the rest of the freaking world is like doing well.
You should have followed Buffett's lead.
He still doesn't. I mean, he doesn't understand Apple is what he said, I believe, right?
Yeah, I think he's got See's Candy and Coca-Cola.
Yeah, he sold a large position in Apple like a year ago. Yeah, he sold a huge position in Apple like a year ago.
He's long diabetes.
Did he say long diabetes?
Yeah, I mean, if you're long See's Candies and Coca-Cola.
Okay. See your point. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, these GLP-1s. I mean, there's good stuff happening in the industry. I'm an optimist. I get accused of that a lot. Robert's been. Yeah, well, Robert's been calling for the bottom of the market for a while. He was right. Like the last few years been pretty rough. I think this is close to the bottom. I think actually we're seeing light at the end of the tunnel.
I think something's changing, but I don't know until it happens. Like, we're going to be able to look back and tell, but we aren't going to be able to tell forward looking.
So over the last year and a half, Buffett sold half of his position in Apple.
Yeah, but how big is his position?
Oh, it's huge. He was one of the biggest stakeholder.
Yeah, exactly. I'm actually more curious about ChatGPT. Who's going to hold the position?
Yeah, the AI. You've been talking about this.
I think
that stuff is becoming very real. Like, we're implementing it at our site rapidly.
Rob and I have strong positions.
I referred someone to KLF, by the way. I
started using the enterprise version.
Of what?
Actually,
ChatGPT?
Yeah, the 3.0 and the 3.0 Pro.
Yeah.
But are you talking the local version or the
04 Mini, the recent?
No. I'm talking about the enterprise version where it's like where there's actual safeguards and things like that.
Yeah.
But my position doesn't change, Darshan. I still feel the same way you feel around everything. But guys, I heard an interesting thing today. It's like, my CEO was at the recent AI conference in Washington D.C. where Trump spoke. The NVIDIA CEO was there. There was actually sent me a photo of him and the NVIDIA CEO like together, head to head. That's amazing. But the point is, he came back from that, and the NVIDIA CEO said, AI is not going to replace people. People who don't use AI will be replaced.
Yeah, I agree.
And I absolutely agree with that as well. And I also think it's like, guys, can you imagine in the early 90s, like refusing to use the internet? That's what we are today.
You would have been fine in the early 90s.
Well, but Chris, what I'm
come
trying to say is,
2010, you'd have a problem.
well, okay, so but that's what I'm saying. So right
Sure.
now, if you are going to rebel and not like start to at least learn some form of adoption and understanding the idea behind
Yeah,
it, how these things,
You're priced out in 10 years.
there you go. Thank you. That's all I'm saying. So
Mhm.
that's where
Yeah,
I'm kind of coming around to the idea of, but then again,
There you go. Attaboy.
there's
We
still
got,
so
we gotcha.
yeah, but there's still so much, there's so much out there to
Of
all
course,
the
and
points
this is where
Darshan
people
have
like
made.
Darshan and them are gonna make bank.
Yeah.
Like KLF.
Yeah.
Shout out KLF. I referred you another client.
Thank you. Thank you.
No
We
problem. You guys
appreciate
do a good job. They're like one of the only few willing to actually do these.
Say
kind of
what
things.
others won't too. I mean,
It's-
look,
Clearly,
yeah.
he hates RFK's guts.
Again, don't hate RFK's guts.
I know, we're beyond that.
I don't know. I don't have a problem with the person. I have a problem with the actions.
Fair enough.
I'm trying never to make it personal.
Okay.
Just because I disagree with something someone's saying doesn't
Yeah.
make the person a bad person.
That's very good. But in regards to AI, so as if the industry needed more headwinds to worry about. So you got regulatory uncertainty, you've got instability, you've got a macroeconomic catastrophe, sometimes bordering catastrophe, sometimes bordering a huge bull market. We don't know, it fluctuates based on the weeks and based on Trump's tweets. The constant you have is the AI. AI, the worst version of AI is the one you use today. It's only getting better.
Yeah.
This shit is, I'm telling you, with the patient ACE, what we released, a voice agent that patients can call and it walks them through question. Like it sounds like a person. It won't joke with you yet, but it's not like a robotic, like a few seconds between answers. It's like smooth. The next step is like throwing in some Chris Sauber jokes in there. That's next. That's coming, and that might come sooner than we all think. And here's the thing with these
that's going to be next year, as far as I know.
Yeah, with these big paradigm-changing technologies, we always overestimate them at the beginning, but we underestimate them in the long run. This is a game, like industry shifting. It might remove certain industries. Talking about CROs, talking about all kinds of business models that will be disrupted or completely changed. That's AI. And if you're a person in this space, which we all are, but like an employee, you got to start thinking, well, how can I use these tools? Right. I did a webinar with Jess Thompson recently on her one of her academies. It was about AI, and people are afraid, but there are some like you, Robert, who started using it because it's inevitable. I mean, the other alternative is stick your head in the sand and not know anything about it because of principles, which the market doesn't really care about principles, unfortunately.
Nope, sure doesn't.
Yeah. So you use the agent mode. The agent mode is pretty good on the ChatGPT.
So we're talking about agentic AI, which is just starting out. It's incredible. I just had ChatGPT.
What should the average person be doing? If you're a worker, you're an employee, let's say you're a project manager or a medical writer.
Yeah. So the funny thing is I'm on the board of Temple University's marketing program, that part of the MBA program. I was there earlier today, and we had a board meeting on this. And one of the things we were talking about was what should these students be getting ready for, and what is the role of education in this future world, and how are you going to sort of position it and support and all that good stuff. What's very clear is AI is going to be part of it. The real question is, how do you position it? Because one of the comments I heard was that the guy who's going to be a billionaire without any other people supporting him is already born. He's already here.
Yeah.
So,
Shout out to Max. Nah, just kidding. We don't know.
I love it.
We don't know. But yeah, no, that's absolutely true. And so the kind of the negative outlook would be, well, it's going to cause layoffs. Well, the positive outlook would be that's going to force some people, not the majority, but some people to start their own thing and do way better.
Yeah.
Like, you know how many site owners, you know how many CRA, and this is no technology utilized yet. Do you know how many CRAs work their asses off? Robert may disagree. Some don't work their asses off, but still they travel and all that for like 120 grand a year. Do you know how many studies you need at a site if you're the coordinator to replace that salary? A half of a study. Like, you don't realize the arbitrage of where you're putting your efforts. And if these AIs force us to rethink that, like, why am I putting all my efforts into source data review, source data verification? Like, I could be doing something else more high value. Well, in theory, the high value is supposed to create more opportunities for everyone. But there's always that gap between the future and the present where people get lost. And I do think that's coming. And Chris and I talked about this on our podcast. I think that's going to be like a 5-year, maybe a 10-year gap for some people. And that will be catastrophic if you can't figure it out.
And you're leaving out a very important point in that description, Dan. Most people are not comfortable owning their own business.
You think that's true, Chris?
Yeah, I do. I think most people are fearful and would rather rely on someone else for their livelihood than themselves.
It's true. I think so too.
That's what our educational system, shout out to Temple, but that's what our educational system teaches.
Rob, I have a question for you. You're the three of us are all business owners. You have your own business, but you're the latest to the
He's the biggest hustler of all.
He is. My question for you is, what did it take for you to change?
It was Dan.
Was it really?
I swear to you, I called Dan. I mean, don't you remember, Dan? I'm like, should I do this? You're like,
I remember.
absolutely, you should do this.
How are you not doing it?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, literally, it was because Darshan, in full transparency, I was also a little afraid. I was like, oh my God, what kind of tax burdens am I going to have?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to get like bookkeepers. I'm going to have to step up my game with my CPA. How do I,
Do you have a good CPA? Because I have a good one, by the way.
Oh,
Wait,
yeah.
no, we heard about your CPA. No, fuck out of here.
Not that one. Another one.
Oh, the other one.
Okay. Not that one.
I'm with Dan and Chris's CPA.
Good. Okay, as long as you have a good one.
Yeah.
She's good.
Yeah, she's great. But honestly, so like it took a lot of, just that kind of reinforcement from Dan and eventually just taking that leap of faith to say, you know what, I'm gonna do this. And then you kind of learn the ropes. And then once you scale and you become, an S Corp or a C Corp, and you start doing things outside of LLC, you start understanding and learning, because I have no formal business training. I didn't know how to start a business. I knew how to, okay, you file an LLC and articles of incorporation. You're this person. You're a sole proprietor.
Regulatory, and if you're in California, you got to worry about all kinds of 40,000 other things too.
So I'm just saying it could be daunting to some, but I think now the tools and the information that you have, really, if you take the time to just study it, it's not.
You don't even have to study it. ChatGPT will tell you what they are.
Well, that's
now
sure, but also, Darshan, to your point, like there's bias, right? There's errors. Like I don't.
Yeah, absolutely.
Every output that comes out of AI, you trust but verify, right?
Yes,
at least
100%.
I do. So even in that vein, I think Chris absolutely
not legal
is
or
right.
Medical advice.
Yeah, I think Chris is absolutely right. Most people are just afraid and want to just lean on, look, this guy gives me benefits. I got a 401k, I got a bonus, and
Okay, you know what's crazy though about that statement you just said and Chris just said? Most people are afraid. They want to rely on someone else. The absolute inverse of that is true for me and anyone else I know who's had any degree of success, not even crazy success, just practical success in business. My fear is I have to work for someone else. Like that's the inverse of that fear is my fear.
Because Dan, once you've had a taste of being on your own,
yes,
you could never, like I always say to myself, literally, I think of some of the CEOs and just the founders of some companies. I'm like, these people they will never ever be able to work for somebody. I couldn't agree. It's a big fear, and that's why I always say I'll go drive Uber and Instacart.
Yeah.
Uber Eats. I'll do I'll do everything to work for myself before I go and work for somebody else.
I'd work for Darshan though, he'd be chill, and I'd work for RFK too.
But isn't this true of socialism / communism too? Like everybody wants it until they have it, and it's like, what the fuck did I get into here?
Yeah.
Right. And then they can't get out.
It's like The Godfather. Hamu.
It's the same way.
Hamu. Isn't that problematic to use AI in terms of confidentiality?
Rob, you want to answer that? I feel like I've answered that.
The answer is yes. The answer is yes. Here's the answer. Yes, and what?
And it depends.
No. Yes,
no,
and
it does not depend.
So what?
No, I mean, of course, Hamu. I mean, absolutely. Obviously, Darshan's the best one to speak on this, but sponsor intellectual owned property is a huge problem when people upload it to their public.
He cut a few people online to get this off his chest at SOS.
I mean, this is a terrible, terrible thing. So, very problematic at the site level, at the vendor level, at the CRO level. At the sponsor level, we can do whatever the hell we want with our IP. If I want to disclose it, I'll disclose it to some public agent. It's my prerogative.
Right.
The issue is, how do you police it? So to answer your question, absolutely problematic. Darshan, expand, please.
No, I agree with everything you just said. I think it's interesting. I'm actually, I'm talking to a couple of lawyers, and I've started seeing this new clause pop up in contracts where sites are basically agreeing in their CTAs that they agree not to use AI. A lot of sites are just signing it without reading it. And the fact is that people go, wait, so when lawyers look at this stuff afterwards, they go, you're already in breach, because what does the word not use AI mean? Because there are versions and levels of AI. Where not everyone's talking about ChatGPT. Right. If you're using a Grammarly, that's an AI as well. So what do you mean by the word AI? So what you really want to do is you want to parse that sentence out, and you can't, because the moment you sign that document, you're already in breach, and you got to be careful. If you're a clinical trial site, I say you need to be very careful. And here's the other part of it. I'm telling you right now, and we saw this.
From who? Careful from who? If you're a site,
you've got to be careful from multiple different sources. So number one, you got to be careful from sponsors, whose property you just sort of violated.
Yeah. Well, we're always careful of sponsors. Though.
Well, obviously a lot of people are not, because they're uploading that data anyway.
No, but they do it. But there's no proof that they do it. Not that I'm doing.
There's literally written proof that they did it.
Where?
Because it got uploaded into the system, so there's actual proof.
Who has access to that? That's not practical. That's in the textbook. Sure, but who's gonna get subpoenaed for what? Like, what's the cause? What's the
anyone who wants to? So, if
Sam Altman said it last week, Dan. I mean, he said be very careful. This could end up in a lawsuit. Like this will be used against you in a court of law. Like all you have to do is subpoena the server, right, Darshan, and you can get audit trails and timestamps. I mean, it becomes a matter of what trouble does somebody who owns that IP want to go through to obtain that, and what are they going to get out of it, right? What am I going to get out of a Joe Schmo site that's got 2 studies and 1 coordinator that made an error? Like Darshan he educates me all the time. He's like, all right, you have a good point, you have a great argument, you would win, but what are you going to get out of it?
Right.
And what am I going to get out of it? Like the answer is nothing. Now, when there's a criminal, if there could be a criminal or civil liability, and there's actually something that's recoverable, that's a
Hold on.
completely
Okay.
different can of worms.
Let's keep it real. You're a sponsor, right? This Guru
Yeah.
After Dark is for sponsors, and this does not
It is?
mean this is what I'm doing. Yeah, no, Guru After Dark is to keep it real, man. There's
Oh,
no
I thought it
show
was
like
sponsors.
this.
Okay.
There's no for the sponsor, because Robert's a sponsor, or
Okay.
Robert represents sponsors. He's the closest to
Sure,
a sponsor rep that's courageous
agree.
enough to come on. Okay, here's the counter to that. Sponsor, and this I've been told by monitors this decade ago. Sponsor don't care what you do as long as you can't be caught and you're documenting everything and you cross your T's, dot your I's.
You just learned why they're not in charge of
You're getting
jack
funny
shit.
looks from the two down below here.
Here's
Darshan
where that
and
came
Robert.
from. Here's where that came from, though. Sites used to, before AI, you had another arbitrage of economies of scale called India, and people would enter data for sites in India.
Yeah, and that's also illegal.
I know, but sponsors didn't care.
Yes, they
As
did.
long as the data was getting entered in time, they get faster results.
Depends on who the sponsor was, what
Of course,
happened.
because you see the worst outcomes. When they
That's
get
fair.
to you see the disasters.
Yeah, but I'm also seeing the stuff that got settled, and I'm fighting those settlements as well.
Fair enough. I just think the sponsors are aware of what's going on, and they're like, you know what? We can't stop it, but if
here's
we
the
help
funny
our
part.
study,
If you are a site,
Yeah.
do you really want to depend on a sponsor not giving a shit or a sponsor
no, but you're not
basically saying,
advertising what you're doing, if you're doing it or not. We, of course, are not. But
of course not.
if you are.
But I think, Dan, honestly, like I'm not dumb enough to say that. I'm already assuming sites are doing this. So
Of course.
but that's my point. So I'm already going with a bias view. Like I know you're doing this, and it's quite honestly, it's very easy to point it out and tell. I mean, the amount of emails that I get, I'm just like, my God, this polish feature on Gmail, like this polish email.
If I see one more dash.
If I see one more of those flipping elongated dashes, it's like, come on, people! Like
This
that
is not just an email. This is a call to action.
It is.
Right.
So I'm already going in with a buy. Like I already know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So to tell me that you're not doing it, it's like, all right, you're shady already. And look, again, you guys want to talk about transparency sites. All you have to do is talk to the sponsor and tell me what the hell you're doing and ask me if it's okay. In the context of using my IP, you have no choice but to. I can't tell you how to run your business.
Nobody asking you.
But
I'm telling you.
Well, that's my point. When I find out, there's going to be an issue.
Yeah.
Shout out KLF. We're going after it, bro.
Wait, KLF prosecutes? I thought you defend.
I do defend, but I work for sponsors. I've sent cease and desist before. And I work with sites. And I've said, I just today was in the middle of a whole thing. But yeah, I do it all the time. I think some sites can purchase. Yeah, you want to throw that one on?
Well, there's the Instagram one. If you aren't using it, it's counterproductive at this point. And the voice assistant get the safety data that help in trials. Shout out to the Instagram fam that's on right now.
I can't see what it says, by the way.
Yeah, I know, but
we just talked about this. This is exactly true.
Yeah.
But
I
still,
think can purchase
but it doesn't matter. But it's not your IP to upload, even if it's enterprise. Right. And there's data now. Like you cannot take our investigator brochure, our protocol, our anything that's marked confidential that you agreed to in your CTA, and do what you want with it, even if it's in an enterprise version. I'll use Darshan's word. Access to data does not mean consent to use.
That sounds like a really smart dude.
For the people in the back, access to data is not a consent.
No, just access to anything. Like I'm giving you access to my protocol. I'm giving you access to proprietary information. That doesn't mean I'm giving you consent to do what the hell you want with it.
My IP, my choice.
Correct.
That's basically what
I mean, it's like really
New York Times, and this is actually an actual lawsuit. Someone put up ChatGPT trolled and crawled the New York Times. Access to the New York Times doesn't mean you can use it. Now, funny enough, there was actually a lawsuit on this, and the courts came out and said, we're going to say fair use. And therefore, you can do that with New York Times.
I like that.
If I was a sponsor, I'd be shitting bricks right now Because
like
what
this.
if they start
Sites
saying
take notes.
fair use because you gave me that data, I'm
I like
now going
this.
to share it.
56 minutes and 19 seconds is gold.
But isn't that substantially different though, Darshan?
Why?
One's a printed version that doesn't require CDA, open to the public. So it's just like recording somebody in public. It's public information, right? Opposed to a protocol requires licensing in essence, right? A
No, they have the
CDA.
same. They both have copyrights on it. They have IP
Jen
protections
Page's
on
Guru
both.
Nation.
Yeah, but I can. So my argument would be that if it's open to the public, just like open source.
Okay, let me give you an example. Do you think if I put my information onto ct.gov, I'm consenting for you to be able to
Email
use it
you.
however you want to?
Yeah, I want to email you.
That information, yes, that's listed there.
No, that's not
Isn't
what you're
that
agreeing to.
taxpayer funding? That's taxpayer funding to put your email on.
I'm not saying people don't do it. I'm saying that's not what they signed up for.
Oh, of course, that's not what they signed up for. But who gives a?
So if Joe Schmo goes to the website, has nothing to do with research and just sees whatever on a page.
Trolls Robert because he hates pharma, and he's like, you know what? Fuck you.
So whatever's listed there is open to the public. No,
it's open. So access to use does not.
But there's nothing to use there. What can you use?
And
So
the study title
is the difference between personal use and commercial use. So you can look it up to find out what a doctor is doing and what trial might be available for yourself. But for you to say, I'm going to create a commercial product.
Oh, okay. In that context, of course, commercial replication of something for profit. Yes, of course, that's protected.
And we have.
But what I'm saying is, if I want to take something if I want to take something that's out there in a general town hall and just repeat it to whoever I want, I can. That's what I thought you were
individually. You mean individually? That's totally fair.
Or to anybody, to a group of people, right? I just can't.
I say individual. I mean, as an individual repeating back, totally fair. But now I'm collecting it and then making a commercial product out of it. That's probably going to cross the line.
Well, where does the line cross between individual and sole proprietor and hobbyist?
No, that's not what we're getting into.
Okay.
Yeah, no, we're getting into the fact that we have all these vendors that are pitching to sponsors, CROs, and sites.
So
shout out
that are using the public data that's available, aka ct.gov, and they are like, "Hey, we're now creating this commercially available product that you should buy to make your time more efficient," and that's where the problem is.
Here's what I would really say: if I was a sponsor right now. And this is the first time anyone's going to say this, but I think
you tell because I've been approached by one, maybe this week, maybe not.
You guys are really Darshan hasn't finished. So how did this fair use settlement with New York Times? Was that because somebody used it for profit?
Yeah, ChatGPT. ChatGPT crawled the New York Times.
Okay, but was it used for profit?
Yeah, that's what ChatGPT is, for profit.
Is it?
Yeah,
they spot. I think
I pay $20 every month for it.
Right now. But they're actually a non-profit. I think
the word for-profit does not mean what is the organizational structure. The word for-profit means is it for commercial use?
Okay, fine.
Okay.
You can't win with these lawyers.
So the part that people are not realizing is that if I was a sponsor. Here's what I would really do, and this is the first time anyone's going to say it, but I think this is big.
Say it, man. Yeah. At 1 hour mark, 13 seconds, Darshan will give.
Let me finish it because I'm forgetting what I'm saying. I have a terrible memory.
No, please, he doesn't have an iPad in front of him. Hurry up. Let him know.
So what I'm saying is, if I was a sponsor, I would make sure that number one, I have a clause saying that you contractually agree not to use my data in any form, including for IP.
Well, they do have that with every site.
No, but you have to have that with every site because of
they do already. They do already.
That a little bit, but here's the other part of it. Because you don't want that copyright fair use argument being used. Sponsors had the copyright fair use argument till recently. Now with that court case, that gets taken out.
I like.
So now as a sponsor, I have to protect myself contractually. Then I need to do a good job, and say that maybe it's a trade secret for argument's sake. That might be another option, but what needs to happen after that is you need to be looking at actually conducting audits to see that people are not to see that people are not actually using the data inappropriately. So the fact is that most sponsors are not doing that right now.
So what you're saying is by this ruling, intellectual property is gone.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the fair use argument for copyright is substantially.
But isn't that intellectual property? Somebody
It
wrote
is a
the
type of
article.
intellectual property. It's a type of intellectual property. So that's why I'm not saying it's across the board. I'm saying specifically in this context, fair use is the way fair use is used. It tends to be a case by case basis. So you cannot make it across the board.
I
But
like how we ended this. Darshan, you're a genius, man. What Darshan just did, guys. And Jen Page is saying, so I can't put the protocol into ChatGPT to tell me what it says. Who would, first of all, who would think to even do such a thing?
I
Jen?
know people who've
I
said
mean,
that.
Who would put a protocol?
It's
No one,
happening
right?
right.
No one.
It's happening right now.
I'm pretty sure Dan's
The
joking because he knows
creativity
that there's 50
to
people
jump
doing
to
it right
that
now.
use case creatively is like, that's
It's
like
so wild.
Leonardo da Vinci.
I know, like who would ever think of to do something? I mean, that's just wild.
But the way Darshan ended this is very strategic. It's like the Rome. All roads lead to Rome. So if you are, no matter what, AI, no AI, RFK, no RFK, if
Call
you're
ALF.
a site, vendor, sponsor, or individual, KLF is for you. And no matter what happens, this is the decade, forget biotech. This is the decade of KLF.
That's right. That's
So
right.
on the way out, Dan, play KLF 3 a.m. trail. KLF's a group.
Oh man, I gotta
Is it really? I
download
didn't know
that. Then
3
Darshan's gonna know
Colonel.
I uploaded a copyright, and we're gonna get into trouble.
We're gonna get it
I gotta stick
exactly.
to the Romanian people, man.
Yeah.
That's what we gotta go out with. Everyone want to give like a quick shout out or a plug for something, or
I'm
as
gonna
we go
give a
out?
plug to the 3 people on this podcast because you guys
Thank
are
you, man.
awesome, and I
you
missed
guys.
you all.
Yeah, it's
Miss
been
you,
a while.
man. It's been way too long.
It's been
I
way
agree.
too long. I think we've only done 2 since SOS. Literally.
Really?
Yeah.
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 This is number 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're doing
We
this
need
like
more.
monthly.
We got to
We
increase
were.
the frequency. Yeah.
It's because
We were.
Dan got busy being a father. Like,
Yeah.
that's not important. But
No.
Yeah.
Dan's in jail. Yeah, he's locked up for the next 16, 17 years. Can't go
Yeah.
anywhere.
we're all
Pretty
very
much,
happy for
man.
you.
Thank you.
And we think Max is very lucky.
He is.
Thank you. Maybe he'll do podcasts one day. Maybe not. I'm not pushing him.
Hopefully
Gonna
he's
see
doing
what happens.
VR casts, like from his brain.
That'll be VR. That'll be the next thing. And KLF will still be here telling
right.
you you're
But
ridiculous.
I hope
for
I'm not
even
working,
thinking
though.
about uploading this thing into this device. Chris,
oh.
any? Yeah.
I'll give you one on that. There
Yeah.
are 2 states right now actively considering protecting brainwaves for privacy
Really?
reasons.
Seriously?
Wow.
And Australia's already done it, if I remember correctly.
Australia does
Wow.
everything. There's a bad example.
So
Did you see what they did during COVID? Like, do you want to talk? We can't talk about that.
I don't know Australia's rules around COVID. I
Sure.
couldn't comment.
Sure.
Yeah, concentration camp or some shit.
Yeah, it was pretty wild over there. And their president, I think it was New Zealand, she looked coked out of her mind.
I thought she did really well, though. I thought that was they had no spread of COVID, is how I remember New Zealand. Australia, I don't know the rules, but I heard
I'm not sure.
New Zealand
I'm
did
getting
very,
the New
very
Zealand
well.
one mixed up. Darshan, KLF, Edie is his partner in crime. Amazing people, so check them out. Chris Auber, any last words? Shout
No, it was
out.
fun.
SOS, maybe.
To
Local
Darshan's
meetup.
point, I guess we should do this more often.
Do
Agreed.
this more often.
All
Robert
day.
Goldman,
Absolutely.
you anything?
No, just keep it real.
Can you upload a protocol to ChatGPT live on the next show?
Yeah, I will upload my protocol to the enterprise version and demo the enterprise version for you.
There you go.
There you
I
go.
like that. I like
Yeah.
that. All right.
And
Anything,
then we can ask it some crazy questions.
you can do some wild shit. Purportedly, according to Jen Pages.
What I'd be very curious about is how often does it give you the wrong answer?
Frequently.
Does it really? Even
I
if you
chal-
upload the
I
Hell,
challenge it all the time.
who asked that last question?
Jen Pager says, I want to shout out to my dancing queen partner at SOS. All roads lead to Darshan. And she's moving to a bunker.
Wait, how much weight did you lose, Darshan, within the last year? Who is that one? Just says
Let's see.
LinkedIn user.
LinkedIn user, identify yourself. Within the last year, You guys look great and miss you all. Darshan lost weight.
I put on like 10 pounds.
Darshan lost the weight that I gained. So, there you go.
Yours is pregnancy weight. It's fine.
Yeah, mine is.
I lost Ozempic weight.
Congrats.
Manjaro.
Is it Novo or did you go like the?
I did Manjaro.
Did you go
I'm
Hims?
still doing Manjaro.
Did you go Hims?
No, heck no.
Since you told me that was a bad stock, things been up like 30%.
Yeah, I'm happy for them.
No, I mean I sold it a long time ago, but that's another podcast. All right, cool. Thank you guys. Let's go out with a banger, okay? Romanian banger, Eugenia Nicolai, featuring Sishu Tudor. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Thank you, your nation.
Have a good night.
We out.
Omule, cât mai poți să-i mulțumești pe toți, să tot râzi când plângi să vie, că doar ai nimeni nu știe. Mai rai sufletului pace, că săracul mult te trage și-a sfințește prea devreme, nu se bucura de stele. Pare că nimeni nu te aude, ca un foc ce arde în paie ude și aproape de pământ se ascunde. În tăcere o să-și având, chiar de azi nu e bătut de vânt, nu o să se stingă prea curând. Omul se naște și renaște din cenușă, pleacă în lume